Start at frame 1, episode 27, and we are live. Totally blurry, but we are live. Let me fix that. Good evening out there, and welcome to another live stream. First of all, again, Chester Music Lab gave me this wonderful song for our intro while you anxiously were waiting for the stream to start. Thanks for providing the song, and I'm gonna jump right in. So, how is everybody doing? Hey, Jean, good evening. Nice, you came back. That's a good sign. how, how are you doing? I first gonna replay our animation so far. See till frame 72 apparently. I added a few details in the scene, and I think I figured out the pose that we were looking, not the pose, like the next shot and the angle I wasn't able to accomplish last time. It was I couldn't get my head around the perspective of the other shot. But now let's see. I kind of would love to see now another scene like it is in Adobe Animate, where you could add a scene, and if whenever you put play, he would actually not only play this scene, he would play all the scenes, which I normally never use, as I don't do scenes. Normally it's basically a one shot, or I do a new project for each shot. So I suppose I now have to add new layers on top of this, and let's say from the timeline on here, we're gonna see this new layers. Let's see, maybe we can at least, I feel Krita is a little bit difficult to organize yourself, so I'm gonna put all those layers in here and call this shot 1. And unfortunately, I am not able to toggle those layers here. Show in timeline, maybe I can, okay. How do I get it back? At existing layer. Okay, nice. So you can, I didn't know that. So you can use those layers and deactivate them. And I think maybe I would like to create. So what I'm thinking right now, if I shy, I don't know if this is the word, that's how it's called in After Effects. If I shy all those layers so they're not seen in the timeline, I can clean that up. But okay, I can't shy various layers at the same time. Now when I right click, I don't even get the show in timeline, or didn't I just didn't see it? Show in timeline is toggled off. Show in timeline is toggled off, but it's still visible. Isn't it? No. Okay, I have to click on another. I'm actually not really I don't know what I'm doing here. I toggle this off, but it doesn't disappear until I click on another layer. All right, okay. It would be helpful to just, okay. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to keep this one visible. This is the overall the group where every layer from shot 1 is inside, but I would like to mark in some way that this is the last image. So I wanted to create a keyframe for the whole group, but apparently that doesn't work. Insert keyframe. You see, it doesn't work. I don't get the keyframe. So now it's a pity. So now you see this is, I would say, a problem here on in the app. Just the administration of your project, and I don't like the lack of response when I toggle off show in timeline. It's still shown in the timeline until I click on something else. I don't know how you feel about that. And basically what I don't like is I would like to mark in some way well, what I could do is I add a new layer. How let's call this timing. So now I don't know if I can, if I toggle off show in timeline, if all the layers inside of this one, no, okay. So I just keep this layer inside of my group. And then I can mark, let's call this shot one. I always try to keep my projects quite tidy, because once you lose track of your layers, especially on that interface, I feel like I need a higher solution on my tablet, so I get everything a little bit smaller and can see more. But it feels it's too much going on with the windows. Okay, so I hope you can see here what I'm doing. This is all the layers that are involved in the first shot. I kept them a little bit separately. So I grouped all the layers together for shot one, and I shied everything but this layer inside that I called shot one timing, which doesn't have any drawings on it, it just basically should visualize here what is shot one. So I see now the length here, and I want to have a new scene from starting from that frame on. I hope that makes sense. So let's create directly a group layer and build everything from here on inside of that group. And try to get this perspective. Wow. So let's see. Okay, we're done with the administration. And let's start with a new layer. We go shot two. We don't want to see this in the timeline. I think I keep this from here on. I suppose I'm gonna do this directly from the beginning on, shying all the layers I don't want to see. And let's call this anyways shot two for now. And this is basically just our first layer. All right, I think we're good. So let's get into full screen here. And look, okay. Now I just jump one frame ahead to see the last image of my scene. So, all right. Now let's see what we got here. What I want now is basically this kind of perspective. Let's see, maybe we can get in kind of a perspective actually. Like let's do this. Oh, that is awesome. I haven't done that before. Let's just mark everything and start again. I want to do like a real proper Sebas Motion. Salut, ça va? How are you doing? Let's see. I'm gonna do a super elaborated 1-point perspective. But I want to first get the framing right for this shot. Sorry, let's repeat this here. So I would like to have a shot from beneath the water, and I think that is already not super cool here. And let's say this is just a warm up, okay? Okay. Let's keep it like this. All right, and now I got it. Okay. So what I want is, and this is now first sketch. We go into the perspective. All right. Afterwards, but I want to first capture like the idea of the shot, and then continue. Okay, so let's see. Of course. So this is our first shot, and then we change from this perspective. And I think we want to, yeah, we want this one here to be mirrored, because we want to stay on the same axis when we want to stay at the same side of the tower, because on our previous take, why is it not drawing? Okay, now previous frame, our camera was some kind of like here. Capturing from above, and we are on that side of our tower. If we wanna continue the tower, this axis, we are on that side of the tower. So now I also want to look from beneath on that side of the tower, to not break the direction where you're looking at, because that makes it confusing. So now I drew a lot of stuff in here that I actually don't want to have. I just need basically to mirror that image. And let's see how we mirror image horizontally. So now we should okay, it didn't mirror just the frame. So how we do that? Can we just mirror horizontal? Okay, now we are just getting this frame mirrored. Okay, I hope now you can see what I'm talking about. Now we're looking basically, if the we would be sitting around here on the water, and now our character is basically about somewhere like here. All right, so we have our stairs here. I think the design of our, well, this is still, I think it was kind of a socket underneath the tower, like something like this. Okay, now we're looking from underneath the water, and what I did for since the last stream, I added this kind of water reflection, and that would be, now we would basically be looking from underneath, because I just thought it would be fun to do and to experiment with it. There's no purpose in that shot, so to say. It's just having fun and experimenting with stuff. So that would be something like this, all right? And the idea is a little bit to combine later the 2D animation with Gritter and then do some kind of compositing inside of After Effects. And I would like to make some kind of displacement here, so it looks like we're underneath the water, and everything that's outside the water is kind of wavily moving. And what would be cool is when he comes down and then actually hits kind of the camera. If everything went bubbly, like there's ice, I think the bubbles, for example, I would do as well, like in Photoshop, in After Effects with with some particle system, because it we could I don't see the point actually in trying it, because I don't want to achieve a certain, I just want to create havoc chaos with that bubble. So I think I would first go to After Effects and see if I can get a result that fits in like seamlessly into the whole aesthetics. Because if I can achieve something like that without doing it frame by frame, I would definitely prefer to do it like this. Although I always enjoy staying in one software and doing it all the time in one software. I don't know. I think it's worth the time that you can save. Okay, so that looks a little bit like we have a perspective, but just to, why don't we get into real proper perspective here, and let's call this guide, and let's give it some funky color, so we're not even close to mistaken that this is not really a drawing. Oh, we could use that one here, right? How did that go? Okay, that looks good. So now I'm just basically draw more or less where I want to have my edges, my corners of the pool, sorry, and from here on maybe look already where the tower would be, the stairs. Here we don't actually need, they came out quite transparent here, those ones. I just drawing a lot of them. I don't know if this makes sense later, but And here's well for my character, because later on when he comes down, I'll definitely gonna need some guides here. All right. I suppose it would make sense to really get this right, to make as well. Now we have those lines, and we should probably put as well. We I don't really know how the whole distance thing works with the 1 point perspective. Is anybody out there shedding a light? Because there's some calculations, suppose. I don't know. We could just try to put that on another layer though, because I think that could get messy. So because I want to establish as well like the distance when the guy jumps down, to know a little bit. You know what, let's just try to keep it simple and not do that, because I'm sure I would it would take me now like half an hour just to put in those lines, so I don't want to waste your time. And let's see if we could just do a very rough animation and see if this works, and see how we gonna scale the guy. Let's get rid of those here, because I'm not sure where I want to have this tower here. If I wanted to have a little bit more over here, so he lands centered. I think that makes sense. So when he jumps down, he's gonna land into the water around here. Let's try this. I'm gonna call this tower, because this won't basically change right now. And then I want to get a new layer. I call this the diver. And I want to, this is our character. Very rough sketch. Okay, so now we're just gonna animate on this one. Basically, just remember our sorry. So was this the last pose we got here? Okay, so this is the last pose of our charm. Let's try to. Okay, so now here we would cut to the layer, to the new. I like that. And I think maybe we could discuss a moment where, like, today I'm just put the layer on top of layer. So now our eye would be around here. Like this is where our center of attention would be. So maybe we want to have the tower. Let's try it. I keep it where it was because I want to catch directly the diver when we change from one take to the other, so I don't lose, because it will be very quick, the whole thing, so I don't want the viewer to we don't want the viewer to lose track of the image, because we don't see a lot of it's very short take, and if we would like completely change where our attention should go, maybe the viewer doesn't have even the time to find the diver within the new image, especially as it's so small. And we will probably want to work not only with the positioning here on that take, but also try to keep, let's say, the ceiling of our whole building in a very big contrast to the diver itself. So we definitely gonna, I don't know, maybe for instance we could just say, okay, the ceiling has a, just let me get straight where I'm here. The ceiling has a kind of a window in the roof. Maybe this is kind of a fancy, where actually the light comes in. So we would even have a very highlighted area, very bright area, and the silhouette could be super dark. So we stay, so we establish super easily where the character is and where the eye of our viewer has to go. I think it works. And then we should probably rethink our perspective and actually make the whole perspective go like this is the point where all the lines are going to. I think that makes sense. So this way, like the whole composition, the whole image is centered around, or is pointing at that at that character that in that moment is so small that we need help to find him. And therefore, now with those lines, we would have to change quite some things, right? I'm now thinking that if this is a good idea. So, how do we get this right? Because I would still want to see the tower from this angle. Like I want to see him from the side. But in order to make this board, like position that board so it makes sense that he at that point is it on that position. Like to me it feels right now I have to get, this is our tower, so say to get oriented on those guidelines, and here is the board. Here would be kind of the stairs. So we would look like straight from the middle to the top, but I want to preserve this direction here. But not really. Okay. Let's put our point of attention here. See if this works. Definitely have to clean up all this mess afterwards on my layers. I think we have to tilt we have to rotate the 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 pool to make this work. I'm having the feeling that I can get lost and get stuck like the last time, and I try to avoid weird visions in my head that get me on the wrong track. So let's start to just do guides here. Okay, then I'm gonna try to diver. Holy F, like I'm really not. So he would be our diver, right? So he would come down on us like he would get bigger here. He would be the head, the shoulders, his arms. I'm just scribbling already. Sorry for the weird. Need it to be I'm out of my element here. Let's see what we got before that. Damn it. Okay. Oh, if we. All right, all right. This would go more. Ah! Thanks for the support, John. Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's life. What that happens? Like, there has to be but damn you, perspective. Damn you. So now I'm wondering if I actually can get this perspective, the result I would like to have. Second. This one has to. Look, that is already like now I have to do like very weird workarounds on Gritter to just get my two scenes working, like just to go through those two scenes, and that's a little bit. That's not so cool because I still want to toggle between those two scenes, so I have to keep it in the same file, but I'm not having scenes. So if somebody gets any idea how to work around that problem, if you understand the problem that I just described, So now what? Apparently now I deleted even that. It's not. So now that doesn't that doesn't work for me here. This is not what I like. Even we're not really with the right perspective. This works way better. You know what? Let's just go without any perspective guides or whatever. Like maybe I have an illumination at a certain point, but I feel like I get stuck here. Let's give it one more try. So this sucks. This is my diver. Definitely have to work on my perspective skills. Okay, gonna need to keep the I'm gonna be commenting on what I'm actually doing here in a bit, but I can right now not lose my train of thoughts and ah, why is it automatically subtracting? Or what is that action? Or right? Okay, so I think yeah, because of that fuck up with the lasso tool, I totally lost. That's the thing when technology hinders you from working productively. What this has to be parallel to this, I suppose. Yeah, there could be an option, but I don't like the framing of it. So now this would be, because we don't see really the edges of the, let's see, let's bring in like those could be tiles that help to as well to establish the perspective. But I feel like the amount of, I would like to make him really big when he comes towards the camera. And I feel like this pool doesn't look very big. If you take like I would like to have him like when he gets here. Let's do this on another layer on top of all the layers, but let's make this seems like the guide we wanna see. Guide here, get lost, get lost. Those are all things that are not working. This one is done. So I would like him to I don't know what, where's everything? So here is definitely, this is the layer, right? This is the layer. So here we have, apparently we have information on top of that keyframe, and I wanna get rid of this here, and right now it's working. And this one, should be gone as well. So yeah, this is not really productive with Grita. So if, hello, Mr. Cool Teeth, welcome. I'm very good. Sleepy. And I'm in kind of a diabolic circle here. I started to drink coffee for streaming this week, as I'm streaming at night or at 8 o'clock, which like keeps me awake. I thought it doesn't affect me, drinking coffee late at night, but it affects me, and I'm now on a weird time shift. And how are you today? All right, I think this could be it here. Now let's try to draw in the example why I don't like the perspective yet, because I would like to have the our diver around here. Oh, no, I think it would be kind of here. That would be the arms. And all the rest won't be visible, I suppose. So this is it, around something like this. And I don't know, let's get some ears and his hair. Yeah, we definitely gonna need some anatomy here to establish the perspective. And to get this perspective, I feel like the whole pool seems very small, isn't it? Like in relation to his size here. Seems like when he actually hits the surface of the water, I suppose. Like just think about the size of this pool. Even if you would enter around here on the water. This is off. Yeah, I don't. Let's try and animate it. So Ollie C, thanks. Are you with him? Coffee is the devil. Oh man, yeah. So okay, now let's use this image already and get him where it would look cool. when he gets close to the camera, do we get that much back? Ah. Even be like so. All right. I think now we're gonna start. We established our scene, our perspective more or less, so. And it only took 1 hour. The diver. Let's move him back here and get this one out from here because we want him on the diver layer. Okay. So he would be, I would like to have him like very small here. And the movement will be very slow at the beginning because he's very far away. So the slower we give him up here, because he still needs to get chirp, chirp. He's still rising here, right? He's gaining on altitude. Chirp, chirp. And one more. And he keeps basically the same, well, he's on the same altitude. He's just now jumping to the front. And now we have to just experiment. And here our guidelines are super helpful. Okay, this is a, it's not really the cool arc that. So it seems like he jumps out and then suddenly realized like it was Coyote that he went off the cliff and then just that. Well, it's a start. And now I want to speed it up. So I now, as you see here, I took like 4 frames on each drawing here. Slow it down. Like to get difference in speed, you have two methods or two tools. You have the spacing, like how far one element in the drawing moves from one drawing to the other. So this is already quite close, which gives you the sensation of a slow movement, and the time you see one drawing is an additional like factor how slowly or fast the movement of your object is seems. And so here, as we actually have to keep it quite close in the spacing, we now go with the scale. And I suppose we stay on those 2 layers, like those would be like the arms. Oh sweet, you go skateboarding, dude. I went, I bought a new board like last year. Holy shit, do I suck. like bad. And and man, I don't remember the slams to be that like bad back then when you fell on the board. Was yeah, it's not the coolest thing, but well, it happens. And when I got my board, I went to the city and fell like because of those stupid tiles. They changed its tile pattern and it just I just slammed badly. And holy fuck, man, I really I really thought like what that was when we were younger doing that. It was like your daily bread, like a lot of times. So, okay. So yeah, now he rotates and some, but maybe let's see how this actually works together. So here we jump up. Whoop. Oh well, not too bad. I like the cut. I'm positively surprised. I actually like the rotation back then because it seems like because he enters the water and there's different physics, it's not in the air. Um, it kind of shifts his fall, so to say. Do jumping stairs that is not even remotely an option. I still watch architecture and think if I was ever good at skateboarding, that would be a cool trick to do here, but no, I think I know I could do coaching. Like I just need somebody who has the skills, and I tell them like how it would be done theoretically. Are there skateboard coaches? All right, so now yeah, I like that, and don't know how you guys feel about the perspective. To be honest, here the perspective sucks as well. Like it's not even that this one goes here, this one goes here, but actually the one point should be here. Maybe we can work on that a moment as well to make it actually everything like make that it makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that here. That looks so those would be the stairs. It's very difficult to get the cool details in here, like this rail here. Maybe later on when we go a little bit with a finer brush and get that stuff done. So this is shot two. Let's try to work on shot one again. I duplicate that layer and let's see. I want to get some guides in here. Also, one thing that is quite helpful in Adobe, like the more and more I work with, I never really liked Adobe Animate, but the more and more I work with Krita, I understand why they put in certain things, such as being able to draw outside the canvas. Because, for example, right now I would like to establish the perspective, and I feel like the perspective point one is actually somewhere around here, and it will be difficult to actually, I don't know if it's actually the not really sure where it is yet, but I'm sure it's not visible on the canvas. This one looks interesting. Like, I want to see how. Okay. So let's say it's around here. But now what that would like totally knock off our perspective here. If that would is that a such a good idea? I mean, our tower is around like so. Oh damn. Okay. So I fucked that up already, drawing all the time on the wrong. But maybe it helps. So let's say this is the stairs. So they would go like this. This would be the rail. Okay, I drew it on the wrong layer, so I gonna try to do this a little bit cleaner. One thing we wanted to bring in was a socket here. So it would be something like this. And our stairs. Now here it would be very cool to know how to calculate the distance as to establish the right height. But I suppose that we'll have to wait to a later point. Yeah, but I feel like I will definitely learn a ton of perspective in this stream series for that diver. And all that background, I don't care too much how clean or whatever this is. This is just to understand the whole scene. The animation is basically just a board and our diver, and I'm sure we're gonna have problems here. So let's see how those two. I like the perspective now. It works. Yeah. Why not? Hmm. Let's see how we can design this scene here to no, sorry. Shot two. I think this is all the things that work. So let's build on a new layer, stuff that we oh. Here I want. Okay, so what I said before, like we want to have a high contrast here, and maybe we can get this by bringing in a ceiling. Like, let's see the design and the color palette of our style frame. Was it that one? Yeah. So, well, is there enough contrast? No, actually not. Like if you really take out the harsh outlines here, contrast is very low. And let's get a little bit more color here. So we're quite bright. So I was thinking now maybe if we are quite bright, like a good contrast would be dark. But then we would have to have a very dark ceiling for our pool. And I actually liked the idea to get a window up there that creates So this is now really not scientifically positioned. Feels off. And if we actually put a window in there, which could be a good light source and therefore very bright, the silhouette would be actually darker because you would see like only shadow, I suppose. And what about, oh, check this out. What if there was actually, this is, maybe this is an open pool. Like I put this color in here and I think we could use that here in that take. Maybe bring that even further out just to design it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, this is the shot one. Now I see how messy it gets. So we don't actually need this as a border or something like that. We could actually continue just to draw. Oh, come on. We could just like put in an infinite. I don't know, like so. We could draw some kind of a tile part, and here could be green or whatsoever. The point is, as our design already has quite some hard shadows, and those hard shadows are caused by a very strong light source, so oh, Arturo, yeah, I think about that. Yeah, just overexposed. So that was the idea, to get it like so high, so bright that you only see like a dark silhouette that gets bigger and bigger. That will be it. Um, but I just was thinking, what if we are actually in a outside pool? And draw on top of that. And here is like the sun. That would be interesting. Like obviously not like this, but the point is that we have actually a another graphic element to put the focus on our very tiny protagonist at that point. That could be interesting, but both ways, I think, like you say, Arturo, completely overexposed and getting the highest contrast possible. It really depends about the design. Like I like this graphical element of the tiles actually in the background. So for me, both options are actually still like, I suppose we're gonna see at the later point. Something goes off here. be it here. Oh, nice. What is that? I'm just pressing. Oh, sweet. Alt and on the rotation, so apparently I skew it, I think that's the word. Sweet. Okay. So that is a cool thing to know here in Krita. Alt, rotation. Boom, you get this weird stuff going on. And but apparently there is still not everything undone. So what I wanted is the diver just to give him one more upgrade before he disappears. Save it, maybe? Well, I think that's a good thing here. So this is what I would call an animatic, right? Where you probably would now get your client approval before getting any further, together with this style frame, so your client would know how the final look would look like. And this is basically the shots, the timing. I don't know if here it's maybe we can slow him down a little bit here at the beginning. I feel like here he's already quite. Let's see, just by putting in 2 more frames, and we'll slow down without any additional images for now. That works for me. Let's let's work on that arc where how he's like going. I think I want to move him a little bit closer to the board. See how this works. Now I feel like we need another drawing in here. Let's go get our onion skin going. So now we see previous and next drawing. So you see the spacing between those. It's because he's now peaking and then slowly falling down. Here the spacing, and then compared to the next one, look at the distance he already gets behind with the same amount of frames. And that gives you the illusion of speed, velocity. Now it starts to look like it, because you first have the very slow and then wow. I like the that we have different kind of speeds in our animation. Like when he bounces, always he's at the top, it slows quite down, and he speeds up down, and the moment where he actually does the jump, he gets quite fast. Then we cut, see him in the distance very slowly again, and then we speed up again. So I think that's interesting. Those different velocities, hey? Okay, that's a fair argument, Arthur, to slow him down when he hits the water. I think you wouldn't to we can try it. Like, let's try it. Why not? My feeling is that because he gets so close to the camera, he has to get bigger, which also gets the idea of speed. So slowing that down would, and by accident, as you see, like he rotates the body, and which gives me already some kind of feeling like he breaks into a different material here in the water, and therefore his movement is kind of shifting. His movement is forced in a different direction because of the water, which was by accident, but it makes totally sense, right? Because you suddenly have more resistance because of the water, and you come in with such high speed that every pose of your arms that is not correctly positioned to continue this path is just getting you into a different direction. I actually thought about not only scaling him up the closer he gets to the camera at the end, but also maybe even see him like see his chest here as he kind of goes up again at a certain moment, right? Because when you dive in, you have an arc as well where you start to get up again. But let's see how this can be. Let's say here is still outside of the water, and here is inside the water. Actually, we have a weird, it actually slows down here again. Oh, let's see if he didn't do that. Maybe that actually created the illusion of resistance on the water, because it suddenly has a slower. All right, look at that. That is actually true. Arthur, you may be onto something here. Let's see. Put in another one. Let's get very, very rough here and see just how. Something looks weird at the moment. Which can only be like, it could be timing, could be the drawing itself, where it's placed, like in the spacing. But I feel like it slows down. Yeah, it slows down and. What do you guys think? Arturo, what do you think? Is that something you think? There's some hiccup, but it could be because it's a rough drawing. It could be. It kind of gets stuck. It gets stuck. No, I just want to try out this thing. Now I slowed down the last two drawings as well. So I just doubled the time that is visible. So now it feels better. So overall, yeah, we really slowed down the whole thing once he hit the water. I think that's cool. So I love it. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Arturo. Like a new accomplishment, a collaboration. I love it. Okay. Yeah, it's still like because it's on fours, like the last two drawings compared to before we have on twos, then we go back on fourth. It starts to lose its fluidity or whatever it's called. All right, guys. So let's leave it like this. I suppose we're gonna see when we get in. We fill in those two areas how it's gonna look. All right. So thanks a lot. What would be the next thing to do? We have to reanimate the board because we changed the. Oh, you know what? That doesn't really. Let me just jump into the first. I now what I want to do is I want to keep elements of this layer here. Let's see. because here we have our board already animated and we have this cool water reflection, so I want to keep those. But the reflections actually are separate, so wouldn't even matter. So now I want to actually lose the board here. Gonna bring that beneath the other layer. And here I want to draw a mask on everything that is not the animated board. This is a weird way to do it, but yeah, not. Okay, so I have this, and now I'm gonna clean that up. I want to merge this, all those here. And I think the board is still not really bouncing correctly, but oh. And we have to get rid of everything inside of here. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna save that as a new copy of it. And we start to clean up again. And this is the new background. Water reflection. Could see the backgrounds still can bring in. Oop. Can I say that he should draw behind? Is that actually possible on Krita? Apparently not. So I suppose we would need a new layer again. Get this going here, and then we merge them again. So again, like project management inside of Krita feels a little bit off to me. Maybe it's a question of, like, it's a matter of getting used to it. Why do we have to? Oh, fucking. So, is it now? I think we can now. So this one is cleaned out. I don't know what this layer is all about. Oh, all right. Okay, this is the background. Showing timeline. This is the timing for the first shot. This is kind of background, I suppose. I wanna see how sorry for not finishing my sentences because I have different things going on in my head. And now let's work with gray, like with values here, and see how this would actually would look like. So here the idea is to have this complete white area, or let's see, if it was actually the sun it would be kind of radiating, or let's see. And I think this here would be like a little slightly darker, right? we are inside the water where there's slightly less light passing through. So I like that. Let's see how dark this could get. I love the framing here. So those are the guides. This is actually the ceiling. It looks kind of more interesting, right, with the ceiling. But I also feel not really sure. This seems a little bit too empty. Ooh. Thing is, I don't know if this really is comprehensible. Like, if you understand actually that there is a window. So maybe we have the ceiling that should probably be a little bit darker if the light comes from this window, as it would like structs everything it could work, because I kind of like the thing with the tiles, as it thing is look at that, like they not really lining up, because I don't really get the perspective. But then as well, because we are going here into the distance, if we don't get the tiles right, it may look weird. As they should be very, very, very close in the distance, because they're so small. But hey, this is now just a layout, and I am really trying to get out something new on every stream. So I think here is one point perspective and calculating distance. That could be a good thing to dive into. Oh my god. So here now I also realize the perspective is still a little bit off here. No, I think we would need a like this, a perspective. Cool. Makes more sense. Mm-hmm. Let's color the rest here as well. Get our correct values here. How we want to have the scene later to be valued. Is it? See if we take this darker. Maybe not that much. But the cool thing is about our idea with the light, we definitely gonna have like hard shadow here. Yeah, this is ridiculous to try to keep our character here up because this is animated and I won't animate now the values. I just won't do it. Maybe for the next time. So yeah, I think this was, I would consider it as successful. What and now I see the whole thing coming together already. See. All right. Okay, Sean, thanks a lot. Think I'm done here. So next stream is gonna be on Friday as well, 8 p.m. in the evening. So if you have time, I would be more than happy to chat with you again. To all of you who watch the stream later on and have watched it or is watching right now, thanks a lot for your time. Consider subscribing or any way to support the stream. Yeah, we're gonna see on Friday how this is gonna continue. And wish you a good evening. Bye, and thanks for your time.